Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing the second model from independent watchmaker David Candaux. This is the DC7 Genesis, and while David Candaux may be a new name to buyers of independently produced watches, he's not new to the watchmaking scene. First, he's a multi-generational watchmaker. His godfather is Philippe Dufour. Dufour is also his neighbor and mentor. Candaux has worked with MB&F, Fonderie 47, Baudelaire, and Jaeger-LeCoultre, where he specialized in chiming watches such as minute repeaters and Grande Sonnerie. This DC7 Genesis follows 2018's 1740 Half Hunter, which was the first watch from Candaux under his own name. And this is the 2021 limited edition of 8 pieces in titanium. Several versions of the DC7 Genesis exist in different metals. This is the sportiest of them. So it's 44 millimeters in diameter, 14.7 millimeters thick, 52.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw the watch on my wrist. It is large, but ergonomically it's excellent. It wears smaller than its rated size, so think of it as more like a 41 or a 42 millimeter round watch, and you get the general idea. You can see, though it is thick, it has a little bit of a slope to its case flank. It'll fit underneath a jacket cuff, if not the tightest of dress shirt sleeves. I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters in circumference. Now, taking a look at the strap, you can see it's a combination of textile as well as suede material on the bottom. It has pull-tab spring bars, so you can quickly and easily remove the strap from the case. There's a contrasting black stitch. There's a little bit of bolstering to give it volume. You can see that the buckle is custom-made for David Candaux. His name, as well as his base of operations listed there. The bear is his corporate logo. The bear, the bees, and the honey that result, all native to the Vallée du Jeu. Now you can see here we have a twin trigger release system for the clasps. You have to press both triggers before it opens, and then it is a double deployant. Taking a quick look, you can see that it is fixed to the strap using a robust bar system, and then we have a curved spring bar setup that allows the lugs to be drilled fairly close to the case without any encumbrance to the motion of the strap, so you can pull it straight down out of the lugs, mitigating against some of the size issue. Now you can also see that the drillings are far inboard of the lug tips, which is why I say this 44 wears more like a 41 or a 42. The case shape is modular, consisting of the outriggers and then the inner case. And you can see that there's a combination of polish and satin. This is grade 5 titanium, so it's lighter than steel. It's hypoallergenic, and it's also more scratch resistant than steel. The primary inner case is polished, and you can see that it comes to a little bit of a tapered profile at the end. It's larger at the base, where the telescoping spring-loaded multi-detent magic crown sits. You can use that to wind, or you can use it to set the watch, and then of course it retracts and locks into place. David Candaux, Le Soliat, that's where he is from. He works in a converted farm building with a small crew that produces his watches. You'll appreciate that the dial is resolutely sporting a metallic sunburst blue, so it's actually several different metallics. We have a slightly domed and cambered metallic sunburst center, and then there's a sunburst underneath the minute and hour track outboard, and then you can see that there's a sloped stepped outer chapter ring, and that it actually tapers as we move towards the tourbillon itself. Now, the tourbillon is inclined at 3 degrees, which means bevel gears are used to drive it, and then the balance itself is angled at 30 degrees. All of this to help to create more of an angle of incidence with respect to gravity and even out the effects of gravity on the timing organ right here. Now you can see if we get closer that the finish is world-class, including micro beveling, satination, interior angles, and black polish. It is a free-sprung balance adjusted in 6 positions, beating away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. You can see it has a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring that allows the watch to keep excellent time in every position. There's engine turning below. You can see the screw heads used to assemble the carriage are black polished, and though it's difficult to see, on the gold plate below, there are actually technical specifications that can be referenced by future watchmakers generations after Mr. Candaux to restore this watch to a sound state of function. Now we'll do a quick lume shot. The watch doesn't have a lot of lume or I should say it doesn't have very strong lume, but it is there, and amusingly, we do have a luminescent 1-minute tourbillon that acts as the seconds display for the watch. Turn it all over. I've covered up the number among the 8. Here we have the movement itself. Now, the movement is rather involved. It's called the H70. It's a manual wind. Despite the power-intensive complication, it has a 72-hour power reserve. When fully wound, it pivots on 28 joules. Again, it's free sprung with an overcoil and a 1-minute tourbillon. Further, if you look at the tourbillon, you will note it is a flying tourbillon with no upper bridge to block your view. Returning to the backside, you can see the finish is strictly traditional. We have mirrored anglage of the finest variety, and the angled bevels come to points, which is just as impressive as interior angles. All screw heads are black polished, their slots and their circumference chamfered. You see we have both black polishing and media blasting on the nameplates. We have the solid gold engraved David Candaux logo once more, and you can see that all the jewel sinks have been mirror finished internally. We have a steel bridge at the center that is itself black polished, beveled with sharp interior angles, and if you look at the wheels below, you can see their inner circumference as well as spokes have likewise been beveled. The bridges are grade 5 titanium, so the watch is very, very light, and they have been finished with Turkish soapstone, which is a technique never before used on a wristwatch prior to this model. That's how they managed to get this wonderfully subtle frosting pattern across the bridges themselves. So a breakthrough in terms of finishing technique. And the soapstone is, or I should say it's the oil stones slash soapstone, but oil stone slash soapstone is also used for wetting and sharpening knife blades. That's where it's more commonly used. Taking a quick look, you can see the watch is water resistant to 50 meters, which is kind of impressive because most dress style watches are 20 or 30, so this goes a little bit beyond. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this David Candaux DC7 Genesis limited edition of 8 pieces.